Tulungan ang kapwa't bigyang halaga ang akin ng pababa. Isipin mo sana ang sarili lang pakisama.
Gentle reminders, in 30 seconds we will begin with our program again.
Timer, oh.
Once again, we will begin our program a few seconds from now. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us all rise for the invocation and please remain standing for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem and the BARMM hymn.
3, 2, 1, go. Nice.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiging sa sinanganan, alam ng puso sa titik mo'y buhay. Upang hinirang, suyagan ang magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ng pangaw, ay hinatang tulakaw.
You may now all be seated.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A pleasant day to everyone here at the KCC Convention Center, Cotabato City. On behalf of the Bangsamoro Agri-Enterprise Program and the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, it is our honor and pleasure to welcome you to the two-day BARMM Investment and Trade Advocacy Forum here in the historic city of Cotabato. Over the next 2 days, we gather as partners, advocates, and champions of progress, united by a shared commitment to build a more competitive, inclusive, and resilient Bangsamoro region. This forum is a space for conversations that matter, conversations that spark ideas, strengthen partnerships, and pave the way for meaningful investments and sustainable economic growth. Whether you are joining us from the public sector, the private sector, development institutions, or grassroots communities, your presence here today reflects a collective belief that the BARMM is a region full of potential, opportunity, and a future worth investing in. Once again, welcome to the BARMM Investment and Trade Advocacy Forum. We are truly grateful to have you with us, and we look forward to 2 days of insightful discussions and shared learning. To officially open the forum and set the tone for our discussions, allow me to introduce him properly. Mr. Jerry Constantino is currently the Director for Projects of the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines and holds the role of Project Manager of the EU-funded BAEP CRESCENT project. He is an economist and a graduate of the University of the Philippines. In previous years, he worked for the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, the UN Economic and Social Commission for the Asia Pacific, and the Center for Research and Communication of the Philippines. He has long championed our shared efforts toward inclusive development in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm round of applause, please, for Mr. Jerry Constantino.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister Abunawas Maslamama, sir. Ms. Myrto Christophidou of the EU delegation, hi. Mafar DG Mohammed Taha Pendrilay, MTIT DG Roslaini Alonto Sinarimbo, NSC Director General Romeo Racadio, sir. Good morning. Mafar Director Pendatun Patarasa, MTIT Director Hussein Birwar, sir. Mafar Chief Datu Hamsur Said, BPDA Chief Engineer Muhammad Abu Bakar, Minda Dr. Adrian Tamayo, BBC President Attorney Ronald Torres. Of course, we have also here Kenram President Alfredo Montesillo and Head Sport Vice GM Vasil Goshovsky. Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning to everyone. On behalf of ECCP's Executive Director Florian Gotain, who cannot be here today, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the BARMM Investment and Trade Advocacy Forum. Today's event is really a gathering of friends and partners arising from our 3 years of collaboration in making the BARMM agri-fisheries sector a sustainable and competitive sector. This event is in fact a celebration of our successes over the last 3 years and a platform for discussing what else we can do to contribute to growth and development, to the growth and development of the BARMM agri-fisheries sector. I also consider this a milestone event, given that this is the first time that the key beneficiaries from different and investors and national and BARMM government officials and development partners of the EU BAEP CRESCENT from the different areas we're working in are gathering together. I'm also happy to note that other EU BAEP implementing partners are also present here today. Having said this, I wish to encourage our participants to mingle and meet new friends in the forum and to be active in the discussions today. The EU BAEP CRESCENT project has completed its 3 years of implementation of BARMM project activities that are aimed at increasing investments into BARMM as well as expanding the export potential of BARMM products. And we are moving in our last year of implementation in 2026. So this event is very important for ECCP as we focus on maximizing the impact of our project activities in BARMM. This is an advocacy forum and we hope to engage all of you in the discussion so that we can understand and learn from each other. We will be discussing the plans of BARMM ministries, the aspirations and innovations of the agri-fisheries sector, the challenges and opportunities ahead of us. Our goal is to be able to collaborate more efficiently in the last year of the EU BAEP CRESCENT project as well as the program itself, as well as to find ways to sustain the good work that we have all started. For the work we have done over the last 3 years, we thank the EU delegation for its guidance and support. We also thank the BARMM government, particularly MAFAR, MTIT, the provincial and local LGUs, BPDA, for their strong partnerships with the BAEP projects. Our work with investors, the cooperatives, and MSMEs, as well as institutional partners like MINDA, the NSC, DBP, SBC, among others, have been very encouraging given their collaborative mindset that has helped move the project forward and their commitment to make a contribution to making BARMM agri-fisheries sector more competitive. I thank you all for choosing to spend your time with us today and tomorrow. I wish us all a fruitful and productive meeting. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Mr. Constantino, for that warm welcome and for reaffirming the importance of today's conversations. To continue, we are honored to hear a message from the European Union, our steadfast partner in driving responsive and community-centered programs across the Bangsamoro. Let us welcome Ms. Mirto Cristofido, Program Officer of the European Union Delegation to the Philippines. Let's give her a big hand, please.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to also welcome you from my side to this forum and to acknowledge Honorable Minister Maslamama, the esteemed representatives from the BARMM ministries, the colleagues from the international and local partners, and of course, the cooperatives and friends who traveled to be today with us. Your presence here is what makes this event already a success. This will be a short message, I promise, but still, let me start from the beginning. And the beginning for the European Union is our support to sustainable peace and inclusive development in Mindanao. The European Union has been a long-standing partner of the region. In the last 5 years, we have invested about 8.4 billion pesos in Mindanao. We have 3 ongoing flagship programs to support peace and development in the BARMM, including the Bangsamoro Agri-Enterprise program, under which the CRESCENT project is funded. The comprehensive approach the EU follows in the BARMM is crucial. We have been addressing policy development and institutional strengthening, the normalization process, and socioeconomic support. Delivering peace dividends to communities, and in particular in isolated places, is a cornerstone of inclusive development and sustainable peace. With that objective in mind, the EU supports the BARMM authorities, local communities, and the establishment of a robust private sector. The CRESCENT project plays an essential role in our actions, supporting a private sector-driven development. The project may have as a starting point our support to peace and development, but it encompasses also our vision for the future, to promote sustainable investment policy, globally, working hand in hand with partners and investment banks, making use of the right tools to promote a friendly business climate. A successful BAEP, with all its components, can pave the way for a future where the BARMM represents a competitive market for local and foreign companies to invest, to grow and innovate, to be connected with the markets of Brunei, Malaysia, Indonesia, but eventually also with the European Union and the world, to create lasting employment opportunities for the people. We believe that the national and regional administration, the local authorities, and the private sector have an important role to play in finding sustainable and locally owned solutions. This advocacy forum today is an opportunity to discuss more about your vision for the BARMM of the future. I am glad that we are here to support you with this. I would like to thank ECCP, our trusted partner, as well as all of you for your presence here today. I am looking forward to the discussions, agreements, and conclusions at the end of this today event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mirto Cristofido, for that meaningful message and for the EU's continued support in BARMM's development initiatives. Our next speaker represents a strong and vital voice in ensuring that our agricultural and fishery sectors continue to thrive and uplift communities. We now invite Honorable Abubakar Maslamama, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Agrarian Reform of BARMM, for the message from the EU BAEP Project Steering Committee. Let's give him a big hand, please.
Thank you, MC. Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, nasta'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, and good morning to all of you. Magandang umaga po sa atin lahat. So, I'm very sorry. My second name is Abubakar, but the first name is Abu Nawas. So, for your information, let me use my first name, not the second name, not Abubakar. But anyway, let me direct to a message of mine. But let me, my respect and courtesy to our EU partners. We are a long time partners of the peace process, especially the Bangsamoro government. And of course, the very effective project, the CRESCENT, the ECCP, our partners, minister partners who are with us today, for instance, BFDA, MTIT, and other ministry from the BARMM who are present this morning. My Mafar family, I think the Mafar family is full battle gear. They're ready to discuss while maybe mamaya. Huh? So with that, marami akong gustong, I supposed to greet all of you, but it will take a time to maybe it will take 1 month to greet one after the other. So time is very important. And I quote the thought of late Chairman Salamat Hasim. He said, time is not even gold, but it is a life. Unquote. Saying thought of late Chairman Salamat Hasim. Why? Because if you feel to use time, it will affect your life. So meaning my apology, I cannot mention one after the other, but let me directly read my message prepared my secretary. Honorable representatives of the European Union, distinguished guests, colleagues from national government, agencies, fellow officials of the BARMM government, leaders from the private sectors, cooperatives, MSMEs, development partners, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good morning to all of you. On behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Agrarian Reform of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, and as a part of EU BAEP Project Steering Committee, it is my honor to welcome you to the EU BAEP CRESCENT Advocacy Forum. This gathering represents more than a formal event. It reflects our shared commitment to building a Bangsamoro that is peaceful, economically resilient, and globally competitive. It brings together government, the private sectors, cooperatives, MSME, financial institutions, and development partners because we all recognized that sustainable development cannot be achieved by one sector alone. For BARMM, peace and development are inseparable. Economic growth is not only an outcome of peace, it is also one of its strongest foundations. Kapag may hanap buhay, kapag may kita, at kapag may malinaw na pag-asa ang ating mamamayan, mas nagiging matatag ang kapayapaan sa ating komunidad. We therefore expressed our deep appreciation to the European Union and to the European Chambers of Commerce of the Philippines for their continued partnership and confidence in Bangsamoro. Through the BAEP CRESCENT project, we are not only implementing activities, but we are also strengthening system, institution, and market linkages. Financing, certification, and access to domestic and international markets. Ang tanong, paano natin masisiguro ng ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda ay hindi lamang producers, kundi participants sa mas mataas na bahagi ng value chain. Our coffee partners need strong cooperatives, post-harvest facilities, and stable buyers. Our coconut sector requires diversification, processing, and market innovation. Our fisheries and seaweed industries need cold chain system, sustainability standards, and reliable market linkages. And our MSME need access to finance, mentoring, and an enabling policy environment. The BAEP CRESCENT project directly addresses these needs by enhancing coordination among institutions, engaging the private sector as a development partner, and strengthening value chains from the ground up. However, we are equally clear, projects alone are not enough. Sustainable impact requires clear policies, strong governance, and local ownership. Kaya mahalaga ang forum na ito upang ihanay ang ating mga polisiya, pamumunuhan, at actual na aksyon. As members of the Project Steering Committee, we see this advocacy forum as a space for honest dialogue. We encourage participants to share both successes and challenges. Hindi tayo narito para magpalitan lamang ng magandang idea, kundi para tukuyin ang practical, ang implementable na solution. Let this day be a moment of alignment of priorities, partnerships, and purpose. Let it guide us toward a more competitive, inclusive, and resilient Bangsamoro agribusiness sector. I want to stay longer, but lastly, may I beg farewell because somebody which is very beautiful waiting for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Abunawas Maslamama, for your relevant message and for your leadership in advancing inclusive agrarian and fisheries department. Of course, leading the 𝐂 Project Steering Committee. At this point, Minister, we would like to request you to please go back on stage for the giving of certificate and photo opportunity. This time, we are also requesting Ms. Mirto Cristofido of the EU delegation to the Philippines to be on stage as well to receive the certificate, to be given by Mr. Jerry Constantino. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Again, thank you so much, Minister Honorable Abunawas Maslamama and Ms. Mirto Cristofido. This time, ladies and gentlemen, we now proceed to one of the most important parts of this two-day forum, the keynote presentations. This presentation will talk about investing in peace, inclusive growth, and competitiveness in the BARMM agri-fishery sector. We will be hearing from two speakers for this topic. Allow me to introduce our esteemed keynote speakers. Our first keynote speaker is Engineer Ismael Guillamel, the Bangsamoro Director General of Agriculture Service of MAFAR, who is also an accomplished researcher and development professional with over 13 years of experience in humanitarian, peace, and rural development work with organizations such as the IOM, World Bank, BDA, and MAFAR. He has presented in international scientific conferences and published research on water resources management, earning recognition from Elsevier International Open Science for contributions to the UN SDGs. A recipient of multiple international scholarships and leading fellowships, he holds a master's in engineering from Hiroshima University, where he received the Excellent Master Thesis Award and a Master in Business Administration, and is currently pursuing a Master in Farming System. He is also a registered civil engineer, certified security professional, and a Philippine Air Force reservist. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mr. Pendatun S. Patarasa. Apologies, Engineer Ismael A. Guillamel.
Thank you. Thank you. A'udzubillah minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Peace be with you all and a good morning. First of all, allow me to pay courtesy to the organizers of this forum and of course with the EU delegates and the partners from different line agencies or ministries of the BARMM and the rest of the participants. Allow me to present the session number 1 entitled Investing in Peace, Inclusive Growth, and Competitive in the BARMM Agri-Fishery Sector. So my role is only the agriculture sector because in MAFAR we have 3 major sectors, the agriculture, fisheries, and agrarian reform. Next slide, please. So the content of the presentation is this, the basic profile of the BARMM focus in agriculture, the agricultural status during the BARMM transition, and of course the economic development framework under the agriculture and the MAPAR programs, and of course the food security roadmap of the BARMM, and the major challenges in the agriculture sector, and of course opportunities in agriculture, and the last part will be the investment part and the strategy gaps and priority programs for the agriculture in the BARMM. Next slide. So as you may see, but now there is no SULU, and this is just a basic profile that we identified at least the different characteristic of the BARMM in according to the commodities that we have. Next slide. This is a basic profile. We did it and we started during the transition. We started from 0, RSBSA, and now the last data that I had, actually this is the early part of 2024, but I don't have time this night to update the data. But the point is, we had already started the baseline. And as of the moment, we have the 200,000 plus registered as of the 2024 data. But now, we able to reach the 400,000 registered farmers, Fisher Fox Agrarian Reform in the BARMM. If you look at the data or analyze the data, you may observe that a lot of the population versus the farmers, if you look at the ratio, there's so many. Marami tayong pinapakain, pero kukonti ang farmer natin. Out of this, the registered farmers is also challenged with us kasi ayaw nilang magparehistro eh. So it's a challenge to the government to really get the baseline data. But we did it, we pushed it, then now we have the next slide. The data, we look this. From 0, we have this 466 and now counting. And if I'm not mistaken, it's reaching 500,000 plus registered farmers now. So what the data says, if you look at the income of the farmers in the BARMM, we belong to the poor. It's ranging around 10,000. And if you look at the gap on the age, most of the farmers are aging. This is the real data from afar. And if you look at also the educational status, when we do some analysis, when we make some intervention, it should be in the level of low educational approach because most of them are illiterate. This is how the beauty of data, because we can now design a very responsive program and projects in the level of community. Next slide. When we have a target, we assume that we can able to reach the 500,000 plus farmers. And now, we are around 90% of reaching the target to register all of these farmers. And our belief is we have more than millions of farmers in the BARMM because just imagine we just started 2019, 2020, and we already reached 400 plus thousand farmers. Then there are more farmers willing to register. So hindi lang kaya ng opisina na madaliin lahat kasi it will take time yung pagkuha ng profile ng mga farmers natin. And if you may see, ang mas maraming farmers na na-registered from Maguindanao. We have challenge kasi it's online in island provinces. Next slide. And if you look at the distribution also, here, you may observe that most of the farmers are located in mainland, and most of the fisher folks located in island provinces. So this is real data. So I think the fisheries sector will present the opportunities in island provinces. Next slide. So this is also another challenge if you look at previous decade, one farmers may own 5 hectares of the farms. But now, time comes and magiging baka 0.5 na lang ang bawat isang taong average farm areas. So it's very challenging for the agriculture sector if we cannot make some approach or programs that will address the limited resources pertaining to the areas of farming per farmers. This is just an analysis that we get from 1960s to 2012. And I think this is a reality now because it's very hard to own a piece of a parcel of farm, even in the BARMM right now. Pero may mga taong marawak pa rin ng area, pero karamihan sa atin, maliit na rin yung area. And it's a program of the agrarian reform of the BARMM. Next slide. Where we are during the transition and what is the contribution of the BARMM. Hindi lang puro problema that we have. In terms of the cassava, number 1 still ang BARMM sa ranking in terms of the contribution in the national. And in terms of lanzones, we are still in number 4. Palay, we reached number 8. Previous years, hindi tayo pumapasok sa even number 10. Pero now, we reach the rank of 8 in terms of contribution. Then rubber, last week, we had also an opportunity to meet the plantation of rubber in Panabo City. We were able to link the Basilan rubber farmers to the manufacturer in the head sports yung gumagawa ng tennis ball. It's a global company, nagsusupply ng pen ball ng tennis. And we're able to link the farmers from Basilan na magkaroon ng market in that area. Kasi ito yung challenge natin, market. Next is mangosteen, still number 2. The corn, of course, number 3. Minsan bumababa, minsan tumataas itong corn natin. Durian also, we have number 2. And in fact, we are encouraging the farmers also na to go with the musangking. The mapper now is looking for the planting of more musangking because it's one of the good variety na internationally recognized yung kaniyang quality. Then, mung bean and cattle and the rest of the commodities. We mentioned this one because we really want to emphasize that we have something during the transition period. Next slide. This is an economic development framework, but the focus of MAFAR, especially the agriculture fisheries, is in the 2.1 and 2.2. This is part of the BDIP and the BDP of the Bangsamoro. So we are mandated to improve the productivity of the farmers and of course the innovation research for the improvement of the farmers and fisheries sectors and the agrarian reform communities. And also with this program, the access for the partnership, improved partnership, strengthening collaboration with all of the stakeholders. Then investment. Later part of my presentation, we will look the gap and the opportunities for the investment. The food resiliency, the climate change effect, it's all part of the improvement in the programming and the projects that we want to develop. And we're also trying to go with the collaboration with the CISEA for the cooperatives to more strengthening the collaboration, the operationalization, because there's a lot of cooperatives in the BARMM. But what we want to look for is the operational cooperative working in farming and fishing sector. Next slide. The three major flagship program of MAFAR. Under our service in agriculture, we call it BINHI. BINHI stands for Basic Integration for Harmonized Intervention in Agriculture. Next slide. What BINHI means is, next slide. Walang ano. This is in layman's term, it is the provisions of different commodities, farm inputs, farm machineries, but we call it BINHI for easy understanding. When we look at, because MAPAR is three major agencies, when you hear BINHI, it's in agriculture, and it's a Tagalog term that easily understood by somebody. Then the basic flagship program for the agriculture services, and it focuses on the farm inputs and even the technology transfer. It's part of the BINHI flagship program. Next slide. Other major program of the MAPAR is the component of the food security. So last 2020, we have already launched the book on the food security roadmap and as well as the food security plan. And it was launched, I think, 2023 or 2022. And the identified different steps towards the sustainable food system and we call it sustainable food system in the BARMM. Then this time, as you may see, we are still in the 2025, the increased investment and partnership for improved implementation of food security and nutrition program. And today is part of this initiative to encourage more partners to go with the investment on the food security. So this is one of the main programs of the MAFAR and even with the convergence initiative with other ministries. Next slide. The idea of the food security is a self-resilient, food secured, and resilient Bangsamoro with the four pillars of the accessibility, availability, utilization, and stability. If you look at the goal, we identify three major goals. One is the sustainable, competitive, and accessible food supply chain for the Bangsamoro. This is a big role and a big works if we try to look for the plans of the food security. And of course, the advantage of the BARMM being the dominant Muslim areas, the halal concept or the halal initiatives in the BARMM. And since the BARMM is one of the mostly affected in terms of the climate or disaster events, we also include the idea on the adaptive capacity Bangsamoro communities. It means not only in the halal, not only in the entrepreneurial context, but even in the resiliency and climate effect is part of the concept of the food security nutrition plan. And the rest of the system down there, the programs and the activities. Next slide. This is the convergence model. It already started the implementation of food security with the different ministries, as mentioned here. These three ministries is just an pilot members when we started the convergence among the ministries. Because it's one of the challenges that we identified before is the horizontal connectivity of the ministries. But with this model, we're able to reach the convergence idea, where in fact we translate it into the action with the main output of food security, peace building, and disaster resilient context. So if you look at the agricultural productivity through the value chain, the social welfare protection and cohesion, and the environmental protection, all of this will work together in order to come up with a convergence model that might be suited to the BARMM because it's still working. We're continuously working with this through the Bangsamoro Food Security Task Force. So, hindi pa siya finally na ganyan na talaga. It's still improving depending on the inputs and continuous improvement from the implementation of the food security system. Next slide. We also identified a major challenge in terms of the value chain for the agriculture sector, from the inputs down to the retailing or distributions. So inputs, we identified as one of the challenges in agriculture is the high cost of production inputs. Ito yung laging sinasabi ng mga partner. Ang taas ng aming bili sa mga binhi, but during the, bentahan, post-harvest, ang mura ng kuha sa amin. Ganun po yung usual na situation. There are so many factors along the way, but isang halimbawa na lang yung issue ng rice na hindi tayo natatapos. Sobrang baba pagka during peak season ng harvest nila. And there's a lot of problem along there dahil ang post-harvest facilities natin is still limited. We have done, but it's not, hindi pa enough to do, to complement the problems. Limited access to the high-yielding variety and insects diseases something. So now, we're trying to develop the Regional Crop Protection Center, where in fact, we have one building now. Just last year, the turnover sa atin. Then we have also the good news is we have the soil laboratory now in the BARMM. And we have now the seed testing center in the BARMM. Previous years, wala tayo niyan. Nagpapatest pa tayo sa ibang region. But now, maganda na yung improvement. Paunti-unti na nating ramdam yung pagbabago. Then, in terms of the production, you know, the farmers still accepting the traditional way of their farming. So that's why we feel some low yielding, limited access to farm machineries, despite that we have so many, nakikita nyo, so many distributed farm machineries in the BARMM, but still not enough because of the large area and numbers of the farmers that we have. Then climate change issues, although thankful si BARMM because the location of the BARMM in terms of geographic area is not so much affected by these storms. But then, we're still part of those may plus flooding na nangyayari and meron pa rin calamities that we have, especially in the along Mindanao River Basin. The major problem of the farmers is itong baha. Kahit anong bigay natin ng maraming ayuda, maraming seeds, pero isang baha lang, ubos lahat ang kanilang ani. Then, low adaptation rate of the farmers to the modern technologies. As I presented in the data, most of the farmers are aging. So the young farmers now is very, I think, the percentage is very low. Then we are now challenged to encourage them. I don't know with the other related mandates and partners, how we can develop some programs that encourage the youth to engage in farming because it's really become a future problem if the farmers is continuously aging. Then nobody is replacing. Weak extension services due to the limited numbers of our agriculture extensionists and low financial capacity of the farmers. Despite that we have model parlance, but still not enough to cater all the credits system or credits problem of the farmers. Then losses because of the limited post-harvest facilities, underdeveloped agriculture, manufacture, and export. For instance, we always known that the BARMM is good in sewage. Number one in the BARMM, but there is no plantation, there is no processing center in BARMM. It's located in other region. Sardines, most of the products came from the BARMM. The other commodities that we have, banana, and so on. So, limited numbers of storage facilities. It's an infrastructure part. And in terms of the marketing, the low buying price. As I mentioned, during the peak season, mura na lang ang bentahan. Wala tayong preservation and there are some need maybe a policy to control the market price. Poor road access in terms of the farming, the FMR. And of course, in retailing, we have a very limited knowledge on value adding. Hindi natin napopromote pa masyado yung entrepreneur skills of the farmers. Ideally, it should be started from the production itself, that the farmers should have this profit-oriented or market-driven initiative in the farming. Next slide. Next slide, please. Out of the challenge, we look also the opportunities in the BARMM. Still, there is a vast resources in agriculture areas in the BARMM. For instance, we have the major camps still underdeveloped. Then areas underdiscovered in terms of the potentials. Marami tayong area na hindi pa na-cluster ang kanyang commodity potentials to develop into industrial crops or products. Then, BARMM is good for the BARMM is the strategic corridors. One thing is the BMP IAGA, pero the BASA has an authority to discuss yung mga strategic point. But the point is still potential in the BARMM. Willingness of the farmers to adapt some technologies. Then support of the BARMM government and the national government through the funding. Climate suitability of the major commodities in the BARMM. You know, in the BARMM, no need much on the soil testing in terms of the suitability. Most of the crops are easily grown in the BARMM. For instance, kahit itapon mo ang seeds, maganda ang tubo niya. But these are still potential opportunities, but we don't yet have the commercialization of these ideas. High potential and acceptance for the halal production, especially BARMM is almost a Muslim area, so 90% of the population is Muslim. If the product came from the BARMM, they thought it's a halal already. But you know, there's a lot of things that need to be done in terms of the halal production in the BARMM. Next slide. This is one of the good, important. Next slide. The gaps, because I know some partners here are interested to go for funding, and some are interested to do some concept. Where is the gap? And what we can do? One of the strategies is increased value adding or additional for agri-fishery products. And the gap here, still the regional office that have established center. Although we have a study to have like a one-stop shop center for the consolidation of the products, but still not realized. The region does not have market information system for agriculture. One of those days, nangarap kami na sana maging Lazada na yung ating mga product, if we can. So at least the information itself, we can look at, but we have the EDIS program in Ahmad, who really map the location of the farmers and each commodity, but not to the extent na commercial na ang kanyang level. We just started the concept, kasi ito yung mga missing link. Uncoordinated marketing initiative system among the Bangsamoro's ministries, offices, and for instance, we have the production, then we have the response in relief, rice and other relief that is needed in the locality. That's why we tried the idea of the convergence program, yung buyback scheme system, so that ang produkto ni BARMM pwede nang isupply sa mga nangangailangan. Ito ay ini-improve pa natin ang coordination. But we identify it's one of the gap. Then, the region does not have food drug FDA. That's why we cannot really export our products from BARMM and tatak BARMM because we don't have the authority to do these things, the FDA. And for the information, the BARMM Research Center had already completed the study on marang ice cream and sakurab, improved sakurab. Then we're trying to look for the patent. And this year, we're planning to do more on kagikit, the tinadtag. It's more on rice value chain product, so that we can able to export and improve the quality of the local food in the BARMM. Para naman, pag pumunta tayo ng Awang or ng airports, we can see the Pasalubong Center, there is a BARMM logo from the product of the BARMM. Then, last is the aging farmers and Fisher folks, as I mentioned in the previous presentation. But then, there are priority programs of the MAPAR, but still not enough. We need some support to do these things because it's not only MAPAR alone can address the concern. Next slide. The enabling environment for investment by manufacturing companies. We thank you also, the head sports is here. We visited them last week with the rubber farmers. So one of the idea of the ministry now is to link further and strengthen the direct communication of the manufacturing company to our farmers through the cooperative system, because it's very hard for them to work with the individual farmer, but it's at strengthening cooperative capacity. So ang nahanap namin last time is rubber pa lang, but we look for the durian company and other commodities so that we can directly engage the farmers to the large market. So one of the gaps here is the limited livelihood support programs promoting agricultural development and marginalized in conflict-affected areas. When you say BARMM, it's almost all of the area are conflict-affected. But still, we need some livelihood component. Kasi if you look at the trend of the harvesting or the farming system, only twice, depending on the season. Every 6 months that they can have the money because 2 harvest season lang. So in between 6 months, what could be the livelihood package that we can able to supplement with the farmers? That's why after the harvest, ang nangyayari sa kanila, utang na lang. Dahil masyadong mataas ang 6 months. Tinamaan pa ng disaster, it's really bankrupt na sila at sinasabi niya ng farmers, it's failure. So, we look for the livelihood initiatives na pwedeng mag-complement doon sa farming system nila. And of course, low mechanization rate resulting to the low productivity. Dahil if you compare the mechanization in the BARMM and other countries, in BARMM, maybe when I was in Japan, at least 1 farmer, they have their own tractors or 3 farmers. Here, our qualification at least 50 hectares because of the limited resources. What's the results? Siyempre, nag-aantayan yan sila ng machineries. So, they don't have the consolidation area and also the season, maliliit na sila sa planting season. Dahil they are waiting for another to complete the farming, etc., etc. So, the result is not good in terms of the harvesting season. And of course, we have the programs, but this program is not enough to complement the challenge. That's why we are inviting others to make some complementation in terms of the livelihood programs to sustain this initiative or strategies. Next slide. The research and development projects to develop resiliency. And I'm focusing on the gaps, the location-specific climate resilience production technologies. You know, we started the RSPSA, we started the georeferencing, measuring the areas of the farmers to really identify the located specific area. But now, honestly speaking, we don't have the real-time data. It's because it's costly to invest for real-time data. But for me, as a vision, sana magawa na natin na kahit nakaupo lang kami, we can gather the data in the farming. Kailan ng harvest, ilang tons ang makukuha namin sa isang area. But what we did now is a simple geo-referencing and geotagging system sa mga farm areas natin. Then dilapidated integrated laboratory building and other R&D facilities. You know, if you really want to believe that the development is real, it should be started in the research and development because there's a sustainability. But the challenge is if the researcher itself or the facility itself is not yet ready, So it's also very challenging to have a more sound output in terms of the research. But now we have three systems. The PRISM system, which identify the disaster area or the hazard areas, is gathered through the GIS system. The RCM system, also identifying the farm management system. And last is the Next Gen program, who really identify the best commodity in every provinces. So that's the only thing we are working in the research in terms of this modernization and innovation, aside from these laboratory improvements. Next slide. Then also improve access to financing. Although we have the, as I mentioned, Maparlens, Maparlengke, and also we improve some or few of the FMRs with the PRDP programs, SDF programs, but still there are areas it's still hard to reach, and there is still challenge to bring the commodities in the market. Then with this, I think one of the priority, aside from this, I forgot to include the energy system. It's really a challenge in agriculture right now, because even though we can produce a lot, but the preservation is limited, most of the harvest is facing some losses. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next. So that's all for the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and a round of applause for Engineer 𝐂𝐈𝐳𝐵𝐄. Thank you, sir, for that insightful presentation. Your perspectives clearly showed how peace, competitiveness, and inclusion drive sustainable growth in the region. Thank you so much. As mentioned earlier, we will be hearing two speakers for this topic. Allow me to introduce our next speaker. Mr. Pendatun S. Patarasa is a marine biologist and fisheries development expert with over 20 years of experience in fisheries, aquaculture, and rural development in Mindanao. He has worked extensively on humanitarian, peace building, and inclusive economic growth programs under JICA and USAID, with a strong focus on community-based fisheries, capacity building, and high-value aquaculture in the Bangsamoro region. A former Bangsamoro Director General for Fisheries Services and current Director for Fisheries of Mafar BARMM, he has held leadership and project management roles across government agencies and international NGOs. Known for strong community engagement and field expertise, he has supported fisherfolk, farmer competence, cooperatives, and local organizations, and holds a BS in Marine Biology with honors, with graduate studies in Public Administration and Fisheries Management Administration and Fisheries Management. He brings more than 2 decades of experience working across Mindanao's fisheries, aquaculture, and rural development sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, the Director for Fisheries of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Agrarian Reform of BARMM, Mr. Pendatun S. Patarasa. Let's give him a big hand, please.
Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Salatu wassalamu ala alihi wa barik wasallim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And good morning, everyone. So I would like to thank to the facilitator and of this event, the ECCP, the Project CRESCENT, and all the Bangsamoro ministries in attendance, and all the officials. Again, please allow me to greet you with Islamic greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So a while ago, you've heard the agriculture sector presenting its agriculture strategic directions, including the challenge. So this time, you'll be hearing the fisheries sector in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. So the presentation outline, the introductions, you'll be hearing the current landscapes and key challenges of fisheries, the strategic investment pathways for fish development, the fisheries production milestones the conclusion, and the ways forward. So why fisheries is important in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao? Next. Fisheries sector is very important in the BARMM. So before proceeding that, I'd like to discuss a few. Because we are the leader in fisheries. Bangsamoro region is the undisputed leader in Philippine fish production, contribute to about 30% of the production in the entire country. It's because of the aquaculture contribution of the seaweed in the region. Number two is the inclusive livelihoods. Fisheries sustain thousands of households in coastal and inland communities with women playing vital roles in gleaning, vending, and processing. Number three is the untapped economic potentials. Vast inland waters in coastal zones offer opportunities for aquaculture, halal value chains, and export diversification. Number four, so next. That's correct. So number four is the cultural and religious significance. Fisheries are deeply embedded in the culture of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Our people, if you're in the island provinces and if you're in the mainland who are residing in the coastal villages, you are rooted in the fisheries as a means of livelihood. Number five is the environmental stewardship. Ecosystem-based management is essential to balance productivity with biodiversity protection and climate resilience. And number seven is the aquaculture. Aquaculture is one of the most promising industries for increasing fish production in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. There is still a lot of untapped potentials of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region for aquaculture, both inland and marine. So the BARMM fisheries profile, next. If you try to see, we have the most productive fishing grounds in the entire country. We have the South Sulu Sea, although hindi na ho kasama yung Sulu, but still, we are joining under the Fisheries Management Area 3 and 4 with Region 9. We have the Iliana Bay, we have the Tawi-Tawi Bay, and the Moro Gulf. For the marine water resources, we have the total territorial water area of 18 million hectares, shelf area of 2 million hectares, and coastal length or coastline length of 3,233 kilometers. We have also a vast supplies or a vast potential for development, the freshwater resources. We have the Liguasan Mars, the Butilan Mars, the Lake Dapao, and all others. We still untap. If only we can tap this full potential of our freshwater resources, we can feed the Bangsamoro region and we can feed also the whole of the nations. According to data, RSBSA, as previously explained by DG ISMA, for the fisheries sector, we have recorded 245,000 registered as of December of 2024 and now counting. Because we have two data, the number two data is the FishR, the fishery registry system. We have a register of 270,000, including Cotabato City and the special geographic areas. Next. The average fisher folk, like the farmers, was 45 to 46. Medyo may edad na ho. And 64% of whom were males engaged in capture fishing, aquaculture, and other related fishing activities, while the remaining 35% were females engaged in gleaning, fish processing, and fish vending. The mandates of MAFAR is or shall promote a policy framework conducive to increasing public investment. It shall play a major role for the development and promotion of sustainable agriculture and fisheries in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The vision, a Bangsamoro region of socio-economically stable, resilient, and globally competitive farmers and fisherfolk. And the mission is to empower the farming and fishing communities by ensuring equitable access to to quality services and for optimum benefits. So next is the current landscapes in key challenges of the fisheries sector in the BARMM. We are also mandated by the law that we have the BARMM legal framework or the policy frameworks. We are also guided by the national law applicable in the BARMM, the Philippine Fisheries Code of 1998, the AFMA Law of 1997, the Local Government Code of 1991. Next, the Bangsamoro Organic Law that grants the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region significant autonomy over natural resources within its territory, including marine and aquatic resources. The Fisheries Administrative Orders, the establishment of the Fisheries Management Area. This will provide a science-based, participatory, and transparent governance framework and mechanism to sustainably manage fisheries with other regions. When I say other regions, with Region 12 and Region 9, which we call it the Fisheries Management Area 3 and 4. The key institutional partner for fisheries development in the BARMM, the next slides. Number one, of course, is the Ministry of Agriculture, as mentioned earlier, the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, the local government units of the BARMM. Next, the Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Management Councils, the academic and research institutions, the donor program, the non-government organizations, and people's organizations that are actively helping the Bangsamoro people and the Bangsamoro government. Next, what are the challenges of the fisheries sector? Number one is the high post-harvest losses. Masyadong mataas yung nasisira na fishery products natin in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Why? Because we have an inadequate cold storage and drying facilities. Number two is the declining production due to overfishing, what we call illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. The high poverty incidence, medyo mababaw na ho tayo ngayon. I think it's 26%. In 2023, the fisheries sector or the fisher folk has a 32.4% poverty incidence. The underutilized aquatic resources. In other words, we have still lots of potentials for development, especially for aquaculture and the mariculture. The fisheries value chain, we have still limited or the weak transport infrastructure in fragmented supply, make it hard for fishers to reach the profitable markets. Next. Next. Aquaculture for growth. Next. Next. So that's we have actually the top 5 commodity. The seaweed, other than the seaweed, we are the number 2 in terms of production for tilapia. This is also another potential for us to excel in productions. We have just to make sure that we are practicing the good aquaculture practices. We have to make sure that the quality of produce from the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region must be there. Therefore, the government have to regulate it, have to make sure that our people, our communities are empowered. Number 2 is the milkfish, yung ating bangus. Number 3 is the catfish and shrimp, and more others. Next. 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 So the capture fisheries, it's related to potential investment in the BARMM. As I've said earlier, most of the big players in commercial fishing in the BARMM are from outside the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. Next. BARMM fisheries production surges by 26% from 2019 to 2024. And now we are contributing 30% to the national production. Next. Next. Infrastructure. The government now is implementing gradually, paunti-unti ho, nagbibigay tayo ng tinatawag natin na off-grid, the solar-powered ice-making plant. Maliit lang ho siya, it's a community-based, but at least it will serve the purpose, especially those are in the island provinces or those are areas without electricity. Next. Why this is very important? We have to safeguard our resources. We are conducting a regular monitoring, control, and surveillance as far as the last island in Tawi-Tawi, which is the Mapun in Turtle Islands. Next. Why fisheries is very important? Because we are contributory to the revenue generation of the government. Currently, we are contributing roughly 10.2 million from only the fines and penalties. If we are totaling it up, including the issuances, it's roughly 20 million pesos to the Bangsamoro Treasury. Next. Next. So yan ho yung top 5 natin from aquaculture and to the capture. Nandyan ho si yellowfin tuna, nandyan si frigate tuna, nandyan si galunggong natin. But for the aquaculture, our top 5 is seaweed, tilapia, milkfish, catfish, and shrimp. Next. So that's the volume of production by sector. The commercial, municipal, marine, municipal fisheries, the inland municipal fisheries, and the aquaculture. Next. So that's the aquaculture basically. You know, mangrove crab, we have lots of potentials. Why? Because Cotabato has the best crabs in the country. Next. So based on PSA, it is recorded that we are the #1 fisheries producing region until the last quarter of 2025. Next. So that's based on PSA. Next. So that's the contribution of the Bangsamoro government since 2019. Next. So I'd like to read these future directions. The inclusive growth empower fisher folk through equitable access to resources, training, and markets. Competitiveness positions BARMM as the hub for halal certified aquaculture. Sustainability, balanced production, regional leadership transform BARMM into a model of blue transformation in Southeast Asia where fisheries drive prosperity, cultural identity, and environmental stewardship. Next. So BARMM's agri-fisheries strategy must go beyond production. It must be inclusive, uplifting farmers, fisherfolk, women, and youth in competitive building strong value chains, halal industries, and climate resilient system. In pursuing this path, BARMM secures food, livelihoods, and identity while positioning itself as a global leader in sustainable agriculture and fisheries. Next. I'd like to leave this one. I'd like to end my presentation with this. By investing in inclusive and ecological sound fisheries, BARMM can position itself as a model for blue economy in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. Thank you very much. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Mr. Patarasa, for discussing such relevant points and future directions on the inclusive growth and competitiveness in the BARMM agri-fishery sector. Once again, a round of applause, please, to our keynote speakers. At this point, we would like to announce a bio break for 5 minutes. We'll be back by then for the panel discussion. In the meantime, we are also inviting everyone to visit our booths found on both sides of this hall. Thank you, everyone. Again, we are inviting all of our participants to kindly please visit our booths located on each side of the hall. Thank you. Again, we have more than 3 minutes left for our bio break. Again, we are inviting everyone to visit our booths located on each sides of this hall. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our 5-minute bio break is almost up. Again, we would like to request everyone to please go back to their seats so we can begin with the next segment. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our 5-minute bio break is up. We will now proceed with the panel discussion with the topic, In Pursuit of an Inclusive and Competitive BARMM Agri-Fishery Strategy. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please go back to your seats so we can proceed to the next part of this morning's program. Ladies and gentlemen, to guide us through our first session, we are joined by someone who has consistently facilitated conversations that lead to actionable solutions. Allow me to introduce to you our moderator for this session. Mr. Antonio S. Peralta holds the role of BARMM Program Coordinator at the EU-funded BAEP CRESCENT project and a member and chairperson of the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines Southern Mindanao Business Council. He is also the Corporate Secretary of the Japanese Chamber of Commerce in Mindanao and a member of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. He also sits as the advisor of the Institute of the ASEAN European Studies at the Holy Cross of Davao College, Chairman of the Davao Citizens Media Council, and the Honorary Consul of Finland in Davao City. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give the biggest hand for our moderator, Mr. Antonio S. Peralta. This time, let me proceed in introducing the rest of the members of the panel. Joining us is the Director of the Bureau of Trade and Ministry of the Ministry of Trade, Investments and Tourism of BARMM. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Hussein Birwar. Also joining us is the President of the BARMM Business Council. Ladies and gentlemen, Attorney Ronald Halid D. Torres. Joining the panel discussion is also the President and CEO of Kenram Palm Oil Industries Incorporated, Mr. Alfredo Montecillo. Let's give him a big hand, please. We also have on stage already Dr. Adrian Tamayo, who is an economist and development researcher currently serving as officer in charge of the Policy Formation Division at the Mindanao Development Authority. He holds a PhD in developmental research and administration and graduate degrees in economics from the University of Southeastern Philippines. A former assistant vice president for research at the University of Mindanao, he has published extensively on Mindanao governance, economic development, and social market economy. In 2023, he led the island-wide Mindanao Trust Respect, Security, and Safety Study, providing evidence-based insights on safety and security perceptions across Mindanao. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Dr. Adrian Tamayo. We also have with us the Director 4 of the Office of Special Concerns of the National Security Council of the Philippines. Joining on stage, we have General Romeo D. Racadio. And of course, we are inviting as well our keynote speakers, Engineer Ismael A. Goyamel and Mr. Pendatun S. Patarasa, to kindly please join them on stage. Thank you. Again, this session's topic is In Pursuit of an Inclusive and Competitive BARMM Agri-Fisheries Strategy.
Okay, I believe we can already start. Given the exigency of time, let us try to be more be conscious of the time constraints that we have, but nonetheless, focus on the key important issues that are present. And I'd like to start with a question that I'd like to address to Mafar. So, given the presentations, let's wait. Oh, everybody settle down. Okay. So, given the presentations, what would be the key intervention to ensure a rapid growth and development in the agri-fishery sector? Now, I've listened to your discussions, but I really see one serious matter that we cannot just say that it is readily there when it's not. I'm talking about the availability of regular electricity. Because if that is something else that cannot be done, with all the programs that we have seen, all of this would be more of an impediment to achieving full productivity. And your productive capacity would be compromised if that's not addressed. But there are many modalities, and I'm glad that MENRE has recently launched a roadmap on the electricity program for the BARMM. So I think we're in a good step in that direction. But nonetheless, I really see this as one of the first things that we should do, because that's how we attract investors to come in. Because if we will tell them that that's still forthcoming, then there's that hesitance to really pursue that. Now, going back to my question, what do you think is the key intervention that that must be made by your agencies or by the BARMM government as a whole in addressing this kind of disparities?
What you need is the Bangsamoro is the actual trade from the infrastructure, both for agriculture and agriculture. But specifically for fisheries, we have yet the barn do not have a fish port that we could take. It with ice plant all over the area. That's the only the problem for electricity. But I think we can work together to utilize existing technology at the moment. We off-grid. That's why the government has started already the what we call right penetration on the small scale solar power extended facility. At least to cope up to address the issues concerns of the carbon content in the sector.
energy system that can cater the temporary uses from the harvest
Okay, thank you. With respect to that, may we ask our representative, Mr. 𝐁𝐀𝐑𝐌𝐌, Director of the Bureau of MTIT, your assessment on the readiness and competitiveness of MSMEs in the agri-fisheries sector value chain. What should be done to make them more competitive and progressive?
Compliance sila on licensing and the standards ng kanilang mga produkto.
Thank you. I do have a question here also for the BBC. All right. What major business concerns have you identified among your members with regard to agribusiness development in BARMM? And what support are your members seeking to get to invest more in the BARMM agri-fisheries sector to be more competitive?
Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. I am here before you as the chairperson of the BARMM Business Council. although my industry is more of hospitality and tourism, but I basically represent the entire chamber in the region. So much has been said during the presentations of our two good gentlemen here about the current challenges and issues of business sectors. But I'll be focusing more on the perspective of an entrepreneur. You have the raw products. You really have a quality raw products. But how will these quality raw products be able to brought to the market? So kami yung nasa market. Why will you take that products of being produced by the agri-fishery industry? One of the challenges that we see there is that we do not have unique value proposition. What is it for me to choose your product? What is it in that product of the BARMM that I am willing to put that into my convenience store? There is a challenge on branding and marketing. While we do have very good raw products, but in the processing stage, we see challenges on the branding of these products. Wala tayong nakikitang mga products sa mga mainstream convenience stores. Bakit walang mga products? Bakit walang pagkain? Bakit walang tuna? Bakit walang mga kagikit doon sa 7-Eleven? Bakit walang nakikitang mga raw products ng coconut, ng coffee? Example, here in KCC, in other big malls. Because we have challenges on branding. And another thing is, we also have challenges on FDA approval and registrations. Itong mga maliliit nating mga negosyante, by the way, as the chair of the BARMM Business Council, I only represent the MSME, the micro, small, and medium enterprises. So I might not be talking about the concerns of the large industries, but more on maliliit na mga negosyante tulad namin dito sa BARMM. So yung pinaka-challenge dito is, wala po tayong FDA office dito sa BARMM na pwede pong mag-approve ng ating quality products na maaari naming tanggapin sa merkado at maibenta namin sa ating mga negosyo. We also say, we keep on saying that there is really a value chain process gap. Pero we don't look at the quality of the processing. We don't look at the quality of the production. Very basic, makita mo pa lang yung product na yan, isda man yan, seaweed man yan, or ano man yung agri-product, doon pa lang sa pouch niya, doon pa lang sa packaging niya, pwede na yan maka-attract ng consumers. But do we have that kind of services in the BARMM? That's a challenge. If I'm a businessman, why am I going to allow your product to be placed in my store if your product does not have a unique value proposition? That customers, consumers will go to that big establishments and would buy this. So yun yung kailangan natin tignan. Isa yun. Pangalawa po, how will we tap the global market? Kami, bibili namin yung products ninyo. Where will you bring that aside from the local consumers? We want to go global market. But the challenge is, we do not have that integrated halal accreditations, no? Dapat integrated from the production to the processing to the packaging, the entire value chain process. So, in summary, the challenges and concerns in the view of an entrepreneur are branding. Second, the registration with the agencies such as the FDA. Third, of course, yung ating halal integration policies na matutulungan yung mga negosyante na mailabas at magkaroon ng access sa ating market. Ang gandang tignan, when we go to BARMM, there is a particular place doon na nandun lahat yung agri-products, nandun lahat yung fishery products. But why we don't have that here? Kasi meron tayong challenges doon sa ating branding and unique value proposition. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a question here for our good friend Al Montecillo of CanRam. I just, it's more of your personal insight to your involvement in the Basilan. I know that it's still under an exploratory and discussion stage, but to see a company like 𝐁𝐁RAM, for those that don't know what 𝐁𝐁RAM is the largest palm oil producer in the Philippines. I have been involved in the palm oil industry as early as in the 80s. Our group was the one that financed the establishment of your palm oil operations in Agusan. So I'm very familiar with this because we were the ones that financed that. And the reason why the Malaysians have chosen Mindanao was very simple. It's the fertility of the land, and it's really the productive capacity of their palm oil plantation businesses here. Because previously you had Sime Darby, who was here, and then you had NDC Guthrie in the 80s. So fast forward to the present, the question I have is, you are one of the successful new prospective investors in Basilan. What was your main consideration of coming to Basilan?
Well, thank you very much, Tony. But first of all, we would like to thank BAEP CRESCENT because it was really BAEP CRESCENT to introduce us basically to the people whom we should be dealing with, no? And that's how we felt confident in going to Basilan for palm oil investment. You know, 𝐁𝐁RAM, as mentioned by Tony, has been one of the pioneers, actually the largest palm oil producer at the moment in the country, and we have been operating since 1967. Our facilities are located in Isulan, Sultan Kudarat. We have actually been looking over the years for possible expansion of our operations. We have gone through almost all over Mindanao looking for potential areas. And then when Basilan was introduced to us, we readily became interested because actually the palm oil industry in the Philippines started in Basilan. The first planting of palm oil was done in Basilan. Although it did not push through, it started in the early 60s. So, in the past year or so, we have been going back and forth to Basilan to get to know the areas. We brought in our foreign consultants to determine the feasibility of the area, the climate, the soil, the rainfall, which are very vital and necessary components of the determination of whether an area is suitable for palm oil plantation. So we are now in that stage, and in the next month or so, we will be finalizing our agreement with the cooperatives. We are actually dealing with the ARBs, the Agrarian Reform Beneficiaries, and we are very lucky that the offices of the BARMM have been very cooperative in supporting us and in leading us to talking to the people and to dealing with government agencies. Mafar for one, its provincial office has been very supportive in letting us understand more about the environment in Basilan. So we are determined to push through with our investment in Basilan. We are looking at developing up to 12,000 hectares of oil palm plantations all over Basilan and put up a processing facility so that we will not have to export our fruits to other provinces, areas in Mindanao. So, but as mentioned earlier, there were 11, sabi nga ni Engineer Ismael, 11 commodities that are being looked at. You know, palm oil is growing also in Mindanao, and I hope that in Maguindanao particularly, and I hope that the agencies can also look into supporting the growth of the palm oil industry in Maguindanao, because there is a processing facility in Maguindanao, in Buluan, and in nearby towns in Sultan Kudarat. So there is no problem in processing the produce of the farmers.
Okay, thank you very much for your insight, Al. Again, it's really a real pleasure to have you attend this event. Now we proceed to the next person here who's been a partner for understanding the nuances of investing in Mindanao. I'd like to have a question directly addressed to Minda. Okay, so should we still be concerned about the peace situation in BARMM? Would you still consider BARMM as a conflict area at this time, or can we really say it is a safe place? I mean, these are the questions that investors normally have, not only among ourselves as consultants, even among our clients, but for the general public in this country. That's why it's very important, and I keep going back to this, because this is the thing that I see as a detriment to getting real investments to really come in. So, Adrian, before that, I think Adrian has some slides to be presented. Joan, the slides, please. These slides are very important because it makes everyone here understand what the security situation is like. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much, Sir Tony. And in fact, that was a very good question. I would match it with a good presentation. That's why I have the slide. Earlier, there were already big words that I have noted. Sustain the good work with dividends, grow and innovate, as well as the agreements and conclusions mentioned by Merto. And I would want to have it, the best evidence of the question that Mindanao is safe, the BARMM is safe, is actually a result of a study. And we have here the result of the study. Next slide. Look, I would just go through this. 2025 Public Safety, Security, Satisfaction Study. And it came out here. All the regions, along with the BARMM, we have an 88.51% safety. That includes 7,200 respondents systematically, scientifically chosen, asking them of the conditions of peace. Next slide. This is a scientifically drawn study. In terms of security, it's 90.15%. Next slide. In trust, which means capacity and competence relative to providing public safety services, it's 91.08%. Next slide. And respect, which means the protection for life, liberty, and property, happens to be 90.54% all across Mindanao. Next slide. For satisfaction of all these services, conditions, life in Mindanao, investments in Mindanao, it's 89.12%. Now, this is the whole Mindanao. Let's try to go to the BARMM. Next slide. Okay, let's understand what do we mean by these figures. When we talk of safety, we're talking about the decisions of reasonable protection. When we talk about security, it's welcoming travel destination. Meaning to say, if you are in the place, wherever in Mindanao, in the BARMM, in Maguindanao, in Cotabato City, there is already such welcoming travel destination as a kind of assurance. Next slide. In terms of trust, public safety services, too wide public and investing community, and as well as respect, as well as in the satisfaction. Next. So those are the implied meaning of the figures. Next slide. When you talk of the BARMM, next slide. Here. In Q2, the safest places happen to be Lanao del Sur and Basilan. That proves the decision that Basilan is really safe because people already are saying that their investment decisions are protected. Next slide. When we talk of respect, we have here the figures. Most of the areas are actually at the 90%, an indication that life, liberty, and property are protected in the BARMM. Next slide. And here, when we talk of competence of the public safety services, the police response, because it's the nature of the response, meaning to say that it is related to the conditions of ordinary crimes, not a conflict anymore. Next slide. And here, Basilan Tawi-Tawi sustained very high ratings in terms of security. Lanao del Sur as well. Next slide. And with that, going to the point of the conditions of the decisions, location quotient happened to be very effective in the areas of agriculture as well as in the fisheries. So there was therefore a question of whether we should be concerned of the security. It came out that, next slide. It came out that the problem of security happened to be perception rather than real. And that now challenges the investment decisions. The capital has now higher risk. Development capital is good, but in the full spectrum of the decision is the de-risking of private capital because that's where all other conditions should be produced as well as complemented with. Next slide. So that's the investments, security leading to de-risking private capital. That is the data that is being presented. That's the kind of conclusion, that's the kind of agreement that we would wish all of us to subscribe to. Next slide. And Minda, Secretary Leo, is providing not just one single program. When there's a need for power, it should be provided in bundle. That's why it's a Mindanao Agenda 2023-2028. The second part of the Mindanao Agenda is, next slide, that's a building a better Mindanao. And if you try to look at all, it is an intersectionality. One cannot be provided without the other. So it should be power, water, energy, environment, telecommunications, connectivity. That's the program that Mindanao Development Authority is pursuing. Next slide. So the question of security and safety, the concern is more of, the problem is more of the perception because the real thing is Mindanao is safe, BARMM is safe, and the decision in other regions should be considered as like a decision in the BARMM. Not higher risk, but similar to all others. That's the kind of information that this data is providing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adrian. So there you have it. But to top it all, and that's why we invited also our good friend, General Romy Racajo, to share his insights. General Racajo has served previously in the Basulta provinces, is very much familiar with it, as well as in Maguindanao, no? I believe, Cotabato City. So his insights are very important to helping assure investors that the area is relatively safe. General Racajo, may we have your views?
Thank you. Thank you, Consul Tony, for... first of all, I'd like to greet everyone. Assalamualaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. There are so many familiar faces around. I think I'm quite acquainted with Director Hussein Birwar. I think he is my upper class at Notre Dame University way back in I left NDU in 1987 to join the PMA. I'm glad to be back to Cotabato City. First of all, my insights would be coming from my experiences. My first assignment basically was Cotabato City way back in 1992, the kidnapping time. And then I was given the chance to go to Noro, Opi, Maguindanao, and to Lanao, Basilan, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, and Palawan. Anyway, it has been my advocacy since I was still a lieutenant to bridge the security and development in some other forms and in some other ways, especially for me who is from BARMM, who is from Cotabato. So it was mentioned a while ago that I was in Tawi-Tawi, which I had the chance to really put highlights on in terms of bridging leadership for peace, security, and development. And so the things that were discussed early on, especially from the two colleagues from MAFAR, very good discussions. They presented all the opportunities, the challenges, but somehow the potentials of BARMM is a God's blessing for all of us. And for me, who came from security sector, now I'm already retired, but still in the Security Council. It is important for us to really rally and converge to capitalize on the peace dividend that everyone has achieved, especially in BARMM, the peace process. So this is something that we have to rally and we have to converge. Hindi magagawa ng isa kung hindi siya matutulungan ng isa, kumbaga. And so I would like to bring the context at the perspective National Security Council, which I am now representing. So the National Security Policy, which was adopted in 2023, very recent, and we followed it up with the National Security Strategy, recognizes that the persistent poverty, insecurity, and underdevelopment, especially in the conflict areas in the country, constitute structural threats to national security. It is structural. So, therefore, investing in a sector such as agri-fisheries, the BARMM has so much potential. And I'm aware of the 34% contribution of the fishery production to national. That was actually my advocacy when I was still a brigade commander. The fishery sector, the Bangsamoro region in Muslim Mindanao, is not merely a developmental imperative or a development choice. It is a preventive security. Preventive because from the perspective of National Security Council, we viewed the BARMM not as a peripheral post-conflict concern, but it is a strategic national priority. We emphasize that. Where the peace, development, and investment, as well as the governance converge. And so this is why the National Security Council is part of this conversation. What we are discussing today, as mentioned especially by the panelists and the presenters, and the status of the perception security of Mindanao directly affects our peace, stability, durability, and our food security, and in fact, the whole national stability. So this is not only a BARMM issue, this is a national issue. And so I just would like to wrap up everything in terms of calling for the whole of society and whole of nation call for action. Consistent with the national security policy and our strategy, the peace in BARMM will only endure when our national government, our BARMM government, our Mindanao governments, the private sector, our communities, and the international partners move in strategic alignment. The role of the security sector is now is only to enable not to dominate. Just like before, we dominate, so we fail. The security sector is part of the problem, but it should not be the case. But its role is to protect communities, infrastructure, economic corridors, market access, while keeping the peace building belong and be led by the civilians and the development anchored. And so, when agri-fisheries investments are inclusive, as mentioned earlier on, competitive, sabi nga ni Director Rosin, is merong standards, certifications, and community anchored, just like the cooperatives we have. They transform peace agreements into lived security. It redounds to the household's peaceful existence. And in this sense, really investing in BARMM, calling for our investors in terms of agribusiness, agri-fisheries, is not only good economics, but it is a sound national security policy. Thank you so much, and God bless us all.
Okay, I think everybody has heard our panelists address the more salient points of really moving forward with a very dynamic prospect in seeing the agricultural industries in the BARMM region really prosper and succeed. So with everybody's help, again, echoing what General Arcadio says, it has to be a total effort from everyone else. So with that, we end this session, and we thank you for your attention to our discussions. Thank you.
A round of applause, please. Thank you so much. Speakers, panelists, and moderator, please remain on stage for the giving of the certificates. Once again, thank you so much for that significant discussion. Mr. Tony Peralta, thank you so much for moderating this discussion as well. At this point, again, as mentioned, allow us to present our certificate of appreciation to the keynote speakers, panelists, and moderator. We would like to request Mr. Jerry Constantino to kindly please present the certificates. Allow us to read the citation. This certificate of appreciation is presented to, in recognition of their valuable contribution as a speaker at the BARMM Investment and Trade Advocacy Forum held on January 13 to 14, 2026 at the KCC Convention and Events Center, Cotabato City. Awarded in sincere gratitude for expert contributions integral to the event's success. Signed by the ECCP Director for Projects and the EU BAEP CRESCENT Program Manager, Mr. Jerry Constantino. Again, our dear speakers and panelists, thank you so much. A round of applause, please. We will also grab this opportunity for a photo op. Once again, thank you so much. We have concluded our first key session. This time, ladies and gentlemen, our next session will focus on infrastructure and how it affects BARMM's productivity. Our keynote presentation will talk about building a competitive BARMM business environment. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you our keynote speaker for this next session. Allow me to go over the bio note of our keynote speaker for this session. Engineer Muhammad Abubakar's technical foundation was established at Notre Dame University, where he earned his degree in civil engineering in 1996. He began his professional career with the Department of Public Works and Highways, serving for 5 years as a project inspector and bridge project engineer. During this tenure, he acquired essential expertise in quality control and the technical delivery of major transport links. His professional trajectory later transitioned to the international arena, where he spent 8 years in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as a site engineer for Saudi DR Consultants, Architects, and Engineers. Specializing in construction project management, he managed complex, large-scale developments, ensuring adherence to rigorous international engineering standards and architectural specifications. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker, let us all welcome Engineer Muhammad Abubakar. Let's give him a big hand, please.
Maraming salamat po sa napagagandang introduction. Auzubillahi minasyaitanirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My courtesy po sa aking mga boss. Nakita ko po si Minister and MP Sir Abunawas. Paslamama kanina po sa Mafar. Sa MTIT po, Imam Farisana, Parsirina Muhammad. And of course, the ECCP po and the rest of the team na nandito po ngayon. Magandang umaga or magandang tanghali na ba? Okay, my topic is regarding to the BARMM infrastructure challenges and opportunities. But allow me to pass through this while I am discussing this one because I am discussing with you also the strategic roadmap for infrastructure development in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region based on the BDP to 2023 to 2028. So, the outline in the next slide, the outline for this one is I'm talking about the goals, the scope of this discussion, and the guiding principle of the presentation. So, our overarching goal is to scale up strategic and adequate climate infrastructure that will underpin inclusive and sustainable socio-economic growth across the region. So in the next slide, you will see that the roadmap focus on the 5 priorities in the next slide. But yes, this one. The transport, the water, the energy, the ICT, and the socio-economic infrastructure, and of course, guided by the strategy guided by the principles of moral governance and the Bangsamoro organic laws or the BARMM principles. So in the next slide po, I will be talking about directly on the challenges with regarding to infrastructure development po ng BARMM po, according to BDP 2023 to 2028. So to move forward with this one, we must first acknowledge our baseline realities. Ito po yung during the crafting of BDP, nagiging baseline po natin ito. So the Bangsamoro also continues to face up infrastructure deficiency, which is regarding the road. We have the road density in the Philippines, or somehow have a lowest road density in the Philippines with about 24% of the national roads classified as being has a poor condition actually. So it will affect severely the constraining mobility and the trade. So in the energy sector, it will remains a major challenge as the BARMM records countries the lowest electrification rate at just 48% of the particularly affecting the island provinces, Maguindanao, and even including the Llano del Sur, which is known as the Llano del Sur is a source of our energy also. So in the household also, in addition to that, we have 25.4% household has a lack of access to safe water, potable water with high vulnerability
to cross-border unflooding. So dalawa po ang kinukonsider namin dito, yung potable water system at the same time, yung effect po ng flooding with regarding to resiliency. Other than that is including the irrigation system. So, kita nyo naman dito po, dito sa baba po, yung digital divide po is at the time of the crafting, based on the infrastructure, 95% of the household has no access to internet. Maaaring hindi kayo makapaniwala, but given the infrastructure at that time, ay napansin po according to the report, official report ng National ICT Household Survey po, yan po ang lumabas na data nila. So with that siguro, pagdating doon naman sa regional opportunities in the next slide, yes, we have also the opportunities. In spite of these challenges, actually, the Bangsamoro is remarkably well positioned for the transforming growth. So the region is endowed with significant natural resources, including oil and gas. Actually, we have in the part of the Sulu Sea and also in the Cotabato Basin. So, and also the coal reserves estimated at over 108 million metric tons. So we have also identified 17 potential hydroelectric powers throughout the region, and along with the tidal and marine energy potential somewhere in the island, specifically in the province of Sulu. So, institutional-wise, so we are supported by intergovernmental relation body, so enabling effective coordination with the national government. And in terms of financially wise, we benefit from the block grant allocation under the BOL and expanding opportunities somehow for private partner or public-private partnership, creating a strong foundation for strategic investment. So about our strategy in the next slide, so our objective there is to establish a safe, reliable transport network. So this is a strategy includes modernizing the air, the land, and the sea transport system. So through this one, we are strengthening the interprovincial connectivity to facilitate trade, access to services, and regional integration. So next slide, we have the water resources strategy. Our focus this time is the resilience and security for the water. So we are prioritizing integrated management for the Mindanao River Basin, for flood control, and climate change adaptation. So alongside, the other one is the expansion of the level 1, level 2, especially the level 3 water systems. So these are the main focus with regarding to security on the safe drinking water. Okay, at about the energy, we have a full electrification. Our vision is to have a full electrification in a long-term energy for self-reliance. So this will be pursued through the Bangsamoro electrification project and accelerated development for renewable energy resources. And also for the ICT, in the next slide, so we have the Bangsamoro broadband. Actually, this will establish a regional fiber optic backbone, although hindi pa ito nangyayari as of now, and a common tower supposedly to bridge the digital divide and enable digital governance for education and enterprise. So another thing is the socio-economic strategy. We have to prioritize the people-centered investment. So by delivering resilient and dignified housing through the Kapianan program by the Office of the Chief Minister, and ensuring accessible, standardized facilities for health and under the Tiyakap Bangsamoro Kalusugan Initiative. So the social investments are strategically aligned with the support to economic growth areas. So these include the trades, tourism, industry, estates, and economic zones. So this will be enable inclusive development while strengthening the foundation of the regional productivity and competitiveness. So in the next slide, as a form of the way forward, I selected three things that will be most for our way forward. First is the PPP, the leveraging private investment through collaborative funding and shared responsibility. Second is the resilient first approach. So this will ensure that all infrastructure investments are climate and disaster risk proof. And the third one is the convergence. So aligning this local and regional and national initiative to maximize impact and ensure efficient use of the resources. So through this approach, we aim to deliver infrastructure and do not only have only functional but also a transformative for the Bangsamoro people. So my presentation is up here. Thank you very much for allowing us for this presentation.
Once again, thank you so much. Our sincerest appreciation to Engineer Mohammed for that very insightful and forward-looking presentation on building a competitive BARMM business environment through infrastructure development. Engineer Mohammed, please join us in the next segment. At this point, we transition to our panel discussion, where our distinguished panelists will further discuss on BARMM infrastructure development challenges and opportunities. Mr. Antonio Peralta will once again be moderating this panel discussion. Please come up on stage as well, sir. And this time, let me now introduce the members of the panel. Mr. Paul Michael Salazar is the Deputy Chief Operating Officer of Cotabato Light and Power Company, leading financial and budget management, operational oversight, manpower planning, and risk and safety programs to ensure efficient and reliable operations. He previously served as Senior Assistant Vice President for Engineering Operations at Davao Light and Power Company Incorporated, where he oversaw engineering, construction, and network operations and held various leadership roles, driving operational excellence and customer service improvements. Mr. Kazar began his career as a cadet engineer and progressed through technical and leadership roles in power system planning, operations, and SCADA management. He holds a BS in electrical engineering and an MBA and is a registered electrical engineer. He also has over 2 decades of experience in the Philippine power distribution industry. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Michael Kazar. Let's give him a big hand, please. Joining them is Ms. Fatima May Saya M. Fernandez, who is the Manila Water Operations Head and Facility Manager, seasoned with more than 9 years of proven leadership in optimizing water plant operations, ensuring reliability, efficiency, and compliance in bulk water supply system of Tagum with 32 to 38 MLD, meeting 81% of Tagum City's demand. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Fatima May Saya Fernandez. Our next panelist is a telecom and ICT infrastructure professional with hands-on experience in fiber optic network deployment and outside plant implementation in the Philippines. He is actively involved with Green Fiber Corp, contributing to broadband, digital infrastructure, and connectivity projects across Mindanao. His work focuses on practical, scalable network solutions that support regional development, digital inclusion, and long-term infrastructure sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lester John Akla. Our next panelist is the officer in charge, or the Project Development Officer 5 of the Business Research and Development of the Department at the Philippine National Oil Company. In this capacity, he has led strategic energy initiatives including the rooftop solar photovoltaic program for government entities and has played a key role in the negotiation and administration of banked gas sale and purchase agreements, contributing to the company's energy security and portfolio optimization objectives. He holds a master's degree in energy engineering from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and a Bachelor of Science in Geology, cum laude from the same institution. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Richard Miguel Alawigan. Our next panelist is the Vice President and the head of the DBP Southern and Western Mindanao Lending Group, Development Bank of the Philippines. He is a certified public accountant with 20 years of experience in development financing, a recipient of a scholarship program in Hungary, Central Europe, and has a master's degree in Agribusiness and Rural Development, Hungarian University of Agriculture and Life Sciences in Godolo, Hungary. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. 𝐂𝐈𝐕𝐄. At this point, we are also inviting our keynote speaker, Engineer Muhammad Abubakar, to this discussion. This time, I would like to pass this on to our moderator, Mr. Antonio Peralta. Take it away, sir.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a very exciting discussion we're going to have because infrastructure plays an important role in ensuring that the growth targets that we have for our value chains, especially for our agricultural products, would be on track. It would be something else that we have always seen as an impediment to real growth. No? So the way we're going to run this panel discussion would be asking our distinguished panel members here for their own respective views regarding the issues that really affect the development of our agricultural value chains. So I would like to start with BPDA, especially with respect to the recent talk, sir, that you had. How is the BPDA handling the matter on making sure that it is easy to do business in BARMM region? No? What legislations are there and should be proposed to attract more businesses in the region? And what is the status of the BARMM investment code?
Of doing business. Thank you, sir. Magandang tanong po. Actually, for the concept of ease doing business, whatever ang national po, we are following it. But for the BPDA, with regards to ease of doing business, we have a vital rule in transforming the BARMM from to a friendly or investment-friendly environment or region. So this one can BPD do. And besides that, sir, BPD has a role in coordination, collaboration. So we have to collaborate our implementing ministries, offices, and agencies with this matter. So other than that is we have to by transforming the BARMM into friendly, investment-friendly environment or region, so we will have also to look at this. If I may, yes, that's, yan po sir yung ano, naghihirap tayo. The reason why is, we have to do the BARMM actually to be, instead of consumer economy, we will have to focus to be also investment economy. So yan po yung pwedeng maitutulong ni BPD po with regards to ease of doing business. With regards sir doon sa second question, the status of investment code of the BARMM. Actually, this is the investment code has its on progress. Actually started for the previous year and the late quarter by November, and until now there is also in the by Parliament is the second reading. So hopefully in the next couple of months it will be become law after passing from the Bangsamoro Parliament.
Okay, thank you for your response on that. The next question I have is for our good friend from the Cotabato Light. Cotabato Light has been an established partner here since quite a long time ago, and they have been consistent in providing electricity as we're enjoying it here in Cotabato City. In this regard, how is Cotabato Light assisting BARMM in improving its electricity supply in order to increase competitiveness of the economy as well as MSME development? And what specific plans do you have to improve electricity supply here in Cotabato, and hopefully you would also consider expanding to nearby provinces? Sir?
Yeah, good morning everyone. So, for Cotabato Light, we have really plans for the improvement of our services to our customers. So, first is, if you recall, we have been affected by power interruptions coming from NGCP. So, I think just in the latest months and weeks, so we are currently GCP Sultan Kudarat. So, and you are having problems because when there's maintenance issues coming from NGCP, the whole franchise of Cotabato Light is really affected. So, it's for that reason that to be able to improve the services to our customers. So, right now, we are in the process of installing 69 kV line, so coming from Sultan Kudarat substation of NGCP, going to Cotabato City. So it's ongoing now, and hopefully it will be completed third quarter of this year. So after that, we can really assure that whenever NGCP maintains their 69 kV line, we will not be any more affected because we have our own line na. So it's one of the major projects that we are implementing right now. Secondly, also for this year, we are upgrading our substation capacity. So currently, we have a total of around 85 megawatts of capacity. Then we only have a peak demand of only around 44. So in other words, we can still cater around 40 megawatts of additional capacity. But right now, we are upgrading one of our substations to increase further our capacity. So it's from 85 right now, and it is expected to increase further also around third quarter to fourth quarter of this year to around 100 megawatts. So I think that two major projects will really improve more our services towards our customers.
Okay, thank you. At the same time, I think with the recent development of the launch of the BARMM electricity roadmap or energy roadmap would be also an important point to follow through. No? So because they also did mention about the establishment of renewable energy in certain areas, especially in Basulta. So moving on. The next person I'd like to really engage our discussion on is Mr. Richard Alaguian, OIC of and Project Development Officer of PNOC. So, sir, I'd like to understand more about what you're doing in Tawi-Tawi in establishing an industrial park. The industrial park, as I see it, is a very good magnet to invite prospective investors coming from Sabah and Kalimantan to start looking into the area of Tawi-Tawi and so forth to Mindanao. I am saying this because of the geographical distance between the islands themselves. No? So, sir, what can you say about that?
So, for us, PNOC or Philippine National Oil Company, just to introduce, we are a GOCC or a government-owned and controlled corporation, the corporate arm of the Department of Energy. So, as PNOC, we come in BARMM, specifically in Tawi-Tawi, as we see the potential. Like our esteemed resource speaker earlier said, there is a great potential of energy, specifically renewable energy. No? So what we plan specifically for what we are planning and in collaboration with the local government of Tawi-Tawi and of course BEZA is to establish a self-generating industrial park in Tawi-Tawi. This is to address the three energy trilemmas, mainly energy security, energy affordability, and of course environmental sustainability. And as well as to, along with the addressing of this energy trilemma is actually to induce industrial growth in the region, specifically for off-grid areas like Tawi-Tawi. So why do we choose? Again, because of the vast resource potential in the area. Specifically, what we're seeing is a good solar resource potential in the area, which we can harness in order to establish the self-generating industrial park. And of course, the main idea of this, not to preempt our presentation for tomorrow by my colleague, which will deep dive further on the details of this, is to actually have an industrial park which will be powering its own through different energy mixes, such as what we're seeing right now would be solar and probably a mix of battery energy storage systems. This will promote, of course, during the first session, what we've mentioned, what is rich in BARMM, which is it's seaweed production, it's marine agriculture products. So that is what we're targeting for the locators of this self-generating industrial park.
Thank you very much. Moving on, we'd like to also hear from Manila Water. Manila Water, as a backgrounder, has established itself in undertaking several projects in Basilan on introducing the WASH approach to managing water resources. No? And also, in addition, Manila Water has established a very good name in bulk water management. No? So it's something else that I also see important in the development of the BARMM. Water, as you all know, would not only ensure our food security, but the communities, also the security of our communities in terms of having potable water, potable and drinking water. No? So ma'am, may we hear from you with respect to your experience, because they are already in Tagum City. So Manila Water has already gone to Tagum City, so perhaps you may also want to look at BARMM itself. Ma'am, may we hear from you?
Drinking water in the Manila zone. And now Manila Water has established an arm, which is the Manila Water Philippine Ventures, which ventures throughout the Philippines. So it does not limit only to the East Zone. They're now venturing in Iloilo, in Cebu, and all the other parts of the Philippines. And now, here in Mindanao, we have three main key locations, which is in 3 projects already in Davao City, and us for Tagum City. So who we are as a partner, no, for any potential water districts or any government units who would like to partner with us, we're very much open to that opportunity. We have started with the Basilan of Project Bohe, care of our partner, which is the Manila Water Foundation. So they have started a level 2 type of project, but kami sa Tagum City, we're after a level 3 type of project wherein we build, we search and study for a sustainable source, and then we develop the necessary infrastructure. We form PPP, as mentioned by Engineer Muhammad earlier. Yes, our main platform really is to form partnership in local government units in local water districts who are struggling in providing drinking water from the source directly to the customers. So I'm also here as a representative, and please feel free to approach anyone. Feel free to approach my team, me, should you need the expertise, capital. We'll discuss more about it. We're very much looking into how to expand and give not just Manila, Visayas, but as well as Mindanao, how Manila Water give care in every drop. Oh.
Okay, thank you. Now we move on. I'd like to hear from Green Fiber. So, yes, I'm glad that you're here. And, you've been working closely with Nokia and are looking into the establishment of the Basulta digital platform. Can you tell us more about this project and how this infrastructure project can improve connectivity in Basulta?
Yes, Sir Tony, thank you for that question. So good morning, everyone. So I am here with the Power Corporation and the Water Corporation. So still the power and the water are the critical infrastructure, utility we have. But in today's age, the internet connectivity serves the third and like the next of it. So currently, Green Fiber is working with ECCP and Nokia for the Basulta submarine cable. So what we are into is the readiness and the preparedness of the island. Over the years, less than 50% of the Philippine household is still connected to the internet. As of last year, it's still like 48%. And in the BARMM, the statistics is still 27%. So we still have a lot of infrastructure needed to connect the BARMM households. Now, for the barangays, I think we still have 37% na meron lang fiber access. And most of it, 40% are just fibers and 80% are mobiles. So we all know that mobile access is not as reliable as the fiber optics. No. We have the weather conditions that could disrupt the connections. So what we are into is to provide a high-speed, high-capacity to Basulta Islands. Coming from the mainland in the BARMM. So, and among all of this, so sabi nga ni Attorney Torres kanina, the readiness and the preparedness of MSMEs. So, in digital world, for us to be ready and for us to be prepared, competitive, we really need to have the connectivity. So, we are working with the master plan, connecting the mainland and the islands of BARMM. So, kanina, nag-usap din kami ni Engineer Muhammad. So, sabi namin, it has been, I think, 3 years na the MOTC, the BIC2 and the BCT are working on it. No, meron na silang master plan to connect the DIA, the Direct Internet Access, from BARMM to the international gateways. So, just to share with you guys, the international gateway here in Mindanao is in Davao City. We have Converge Globe and PLDT from the private companies. So with that, ang hirap kasi access from Davao directly terrestrial to Basulta via Zamboanga. So some of the private companies, what they have done is they lay submarine up to Zamboanga. They have the CLS or the cable landing station from Zamboanga, and that's where we will come in. So from Zamboanga, we are planning to have a Zamboanga to Basilan, Basilan to Sulu, and Sulu to Tawi-Tawi submarine cable. The way we choose submarine cable, so first of all, it's very resilient, high capacity, and high bandwidth. So think of it like this. For many years, yung mga remote areas, we consider remote, special geographical areas, nang hirap talagang i-access. But they are physically not connected. In today's era, even if you are physically remote, you can be digitally connected, right? So most of us wanted to connect to the world, being a VA or a messengers, Facebook, whatsoever platforms. But it's so easy right now. So what we are planning is to have the Basulta connected. They are already connected, no? But the latency, the reliability is the issue. No? So the capacity also, most of their internets, I think, relies on Starlink, P2Ps, if you've known P2Ps, microwaves, connections. So pag umulan yan, talagang bagsak yan. Pag masama ang panahon, kahit hindi umulan, bagsak pa rin yan. So that's what we are into. And again, it will ease BARMM doing business, as Sir Muhammad said. No? The licensing, no? The tracking of your services, no? The Attorney Torres kanina sabi, the hospitality and tourism. It will really boost the tourism industry. From the vloggers, you are already broadcasting or marketing your you're already marketing and broadcasting your areas, no? Online platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagrams. So you can only achieve that with high and reliable internet connections. So yeah, and also this is the last thing, the last note I have. The problem we have with the current setup for the government is we don't have the master plan. No? So last 2023, I'd like to share with you, we hit a underground cable connecting Mindanao and Visayas, causing the Mindanao to shut down for at least one day. So, malaking ano talaga yon, impact sa amin kasi nagkasala kami. Yan. But if you look at the improvement needed, we really need to have the digital city, digital like GIS form of the city, so we can know yung what's under, like what cables, the water, the electricities. If you buried it underground, wala kasing nakakita dyan eh. So if you trench it, because we will be using trenchless technology, the HDD machines. So pag tinusok mo yan, you really don't know what's underground. So tendency is you will really hit it. So bigla na lang yan uy, ba't may tubig? Or bigla na lang tatawag si Globe PLDT, uy, bagsak yung isang syudad namin, or even the entire Mindanao. It's because of that. We don't have the digital equivalent city. So since BARMM working as one, the big two MOTC and BTC, I think they can work on it if they have the master plan, convert also it into a digital city. Para pag may pumasok na private entity, sabihin, wag kayo dyan ha. At this level, at this depth, we have these cables laid, so iwasan nyo yan. So in that way, we can prevent doon sa interruptions na mangyayari. So that's what we are planning in Basulta area. Connect the islands to the mainland, have it on a digital city equivalent to provide high and reliable internet connectivity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we go to the most important part, because all these projects are very important indeed. But if we do not have the kind of financing that would trigger this off, then all of those will only be like, as they said, drawings a blackboard. So now we talk of asking DBPs to tell us more about their programs. to just inform everybody else, there is only one infrastructure bank in the country. That is the Development Bank of the Philippines. That is why they have been mandated to undertake all infrastructure projects, not only with LGUs, but also with regions, with large companies, and even for companies that want to embark on projects that would that can qualify under the public-private partnership arrangement. No? So, very important ito. And also, for those who don't know, DBP owns 98% of Al-Amana Islamic Bank. And this has an important bearing with the role of DBP coming here and much more active, because eventually Al-Amana itself will play an important role in really hastening the development of our agricultural value chains, our communities, our businesses, name it. So with that, may I ask our good friend, Mr. Chato, to really share with us DBP's plans and programs. Sir?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Sir Tony, thank you for inviting DBP. Development Bank of the Philippines is a government institution. But first and foremost, we are a bank, highly regulated by BSP. So having said that, we give big emphasis on sustainability and viability. So we cannot just lend out money without looking into the viability of the project. So that's the basic question, how to make investment in BARMM viable. Given all the challenges that I mentioned by the speakers earlier, we have challenges on power reliability. So mayroong concern in terms of sustainable power supply on some areas. So DBP has been funding a lot of projects, not just in BARMM, but the entire country, from the power generation side, even on the transmission and distribution. So electric cooperatives, we've been supporting electric cooperatives, but there are some electric cooperatives that still needs that's still being challenged for being a viable one. So that's one areas of concern. One also areas of concern is on the reliability of water supply. So DBP has also been supporting a lot of water districts, private water distribution utilities, and even LGU-run water systems. And also there is an issue about, the topic is about infrastructure. No? It's quite wide. Infrastructure, we talk about roads and bridges, ports, but the relevant discussion is really on related to the topic is on the infrastructure that supports agriculture and fishery. I think it has been mentioned earlier by the speakers that we have an issue about the post-harvest facilities. Now, perhaps what comes first, there's an issue about cold storage lacking in the area. But why? It could be because there is a lack of power supply, or it could be a matter of there is no established market that will use that cold storage. So those are the problems that needs to be answered. But again, at the end of the day, we have to make sure that these projects are financially viable so that the banks, not just the development bank or the government bank, even the private banks can come in and join these projects. So those are the key issues. We have to make things viable in the area so that financing could come in. There is also one issue. We talk a lot of business partners in the industry. One, multinationals would like to invest in BARMM, especially in corporate farming. But yeah, I think that the issue has been validated in earlier presentation in terms of the farm ownership, where the farm ownership is so fragmented and small. How could you modernize an area when the farm ownership is just limited to 1-2 hectares, planting different crops in those areas? No? So it has to be consolidated, integrated in such a manner that there would be an efficient use of modernized machineries for the area. So I think that's a policy issue. And yeah, through cooperative, through corporate farming, this would make things viable, and development banks or private banks could easily come in. So yeah, infrastructure in terms of power, water, IT infrastructure, let's make this viable, and banks would really come in. We have to make an enabling environment where other sectors would come in and make their investment viable. It has been mentioned by the speaker earlier that there are 17 hydro project potentials in the area of BARMM. And DBP has been supporting a lot of hydropower projects. So DBP could come in to support that, to develop, and maybe provide a sustainable power supply for the area, among others. Sabi nga ni Minister kanina na kapag merong hanap buhay, kapag merong economic stability, may pag-asa ang kapayapaan. So we are one with that, and DBP will continue and ever willing to support investment in BARMM. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I think URC, what you just have heard is basically the viewpoints of the different sectors that really make up our infrastructure industry here in BARMM. And it's very important for us to also understand why these infrastructures are really very important to drive the growth of BARMM. Now, there is only one thing I'd like to share with all our speakers, that apart from the kind of prospects that we have, there is the important point of being close to both Indonesia and Malaysia. You have the BIMP-IAGA framework. And I am aware of how we can sort of capitalize and leverage on this. Because at the end of the day, nothing can beat location economics. Especially if we have, more or less, we have a tangible and sustainable solution to our infrastructure projects. The growth prospects are limitless. Because again, you have stronger neighbors whose economies are very strong to support expansion here in the Basulta or even Mindanao provinces. Now, I think with this resolves a key concern of how the BIMP-IAGA has really developed. Previously, it's been government to government. What we'd like to see is greater private sector interaction. And it's about to just get interesting because we will also involve the different foreign chambers in the different countries that make up IAGA. You have the European Chamber in Jakarta, you have the European Chamber in Kuala Lumpur, as well as Singapore. So consider the dynamics of really having them. Plus, of course, you have also the other foreign chambers present in Mindanao, like the Japanese Chamber of Commerce, the American Chamber of Commerce, and the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. All of them have their counterparts in these countries. They are the ones that drive the investment in the entire ASEAN region. That's why you do have institutions like the EU-ASEAN Business Council. And I'd like to see really, at the end of the day, to get them more interested in the prospects. And I believe we are on the right track in getting or achieving that. With this, thank you and good morning. You have been a very good crowd, and we can have our own private discussions with each of our panel members as we end this presentation. Thank you and good morning.
All right, this time, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much to our keynote speaker and panelists. We will now be calling again Mr. Jerry Constantino to present the Certificate of Appreciation again to our dear speakers and panelists. Once again, this concludes our session on BARMM infrastructure development challenges and opportunities. Let's give them a round of applause, please. And now this is the perfect opportunity for a group photo. Our gratitude goes as well to the moderator of this session, Mr. Antonio Peralta. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Our morning session has concluded. We will now proceed with our lunch break, informing everyone that we do have comfort rooms located on the left side of the stage near the UNDP booth. Again, we do have comfort rooms located on the left side of the stage near the UNDP booth. And while we are on our lunch break, we are also inviting everyone to find the time to visit our booths. We will be resuming at 1:30 for the afternoon session. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the break.